All right, hey y'all. So Venus in astrology is about our aesthetic, it's about our value system. It's about what we use as far as our own allure and our own means of getting what we want, either financially in romantic and love situations. Venus is the lubricant that lubes the moving parts. Venus in Scorpio longs for someone that will meet their intensity and their passion. They don't really like to reveal themselves too much, and no Scorpio placement really ever does. But they do tend to find themselves in situations where people open up their deep selves to them even if they've like just met them. So a lot of times, even with like people with eighth house placements or like Scorpio placements, you'll notice in their lives that people will just automatically open up to them. It's almost like they have this like kind of therapeutic energy about them. Venus in Scorpio is like a master, it's a puppet master. Like Venus in Scorpio always is thinking a few steps ahead. They're very calculating, and I feel this is true for all Scorpio placements. I attract a lot of Scorpio and eighth house placements, and they are highly calculating. And I don't think that's a bad thing. I mean, they're always thinking two steps ahead, and they never really show their cards. So Venus and Scorpio, I feel like a token statement to them would be like, I don't show you my hand, you show me your hand. I actually grew up, my mom has Venus in Scorpio, and they are very astute and they pick up a lot. Scorpio placements in general, I mean, her moon's in Scorpio too, but they pick up a lot of energy from other people, even if they're not really conscious that they are as aware as they are. So Venus in Scorpio wants to look into the depths of your soul. And if you're just like surface level, a pretty face itself will not cut it. I mean, they'll still have sex with you, but to have a deep, meaningful relationship, it's going to take more than just a pretty face. Venus and Scorpio desires like true vulnerability, and yes, the weight of their heart is through their genitalia. I mean, Scorpio placements are ruled by the genitalia, so it can be their attribute. It can also be one of their downfalls. And so you'll see this a lot of times in the Venus in Scorpio type of dynamic. They will attract people that are super highly codependent and anxious, and they'll be the more detached, pulled back one until they finally have had a chance to get to know you long enough and are vulnerable enough to expose themselves. But once they do that, do not take that for granted, because a Scorpio never forgets, and they will take vindication as they see fit. And that can even be years later. Another good token phrase for Venus and Scorpio would be, I never forget, and you will always have to pay the piper at some point. Venus and Scorpio can be quite possessive. They can have a lot of rage as well in regards to romantic entanglements. So I've seen a lot with the Venus and Scorpio placement. There be like love triangle entanglements. You see this a lot with like eighth house placements too, and like adverse aspects to malefics like Pluto. So like Venus opposing Pluto, Venus squaring Pluto. You're gonna see some intense situations, where you almost like feel like you're doomed in love if you have Venus and Scorpio sometimes. And that's not the case. It's just making sure that you find someone that matches your level of intensity, your level of sexuality, and your level of loyalty. I feel like Venus and Scorpio is a very, very loyal placement. They're fixed signs, so they're going to be loyal. But again, if you betray a Scorpio or eighth house placement, you have to in some way anticipate being completely annihilated and destroyed, because they like to make you feel the lesson. Venus in Scorpio is a very sexy placement, so these people are alluring, and they are very they might be attracted to the darker sides of life, and they may have just, I mean, anytime you see somebody with eighth house Scorpio placements, you're going to know this person has really lived multiple lives in this one life, and they learn how to transcend. Venus in Scorpio is not the most favoritized, the most favorite placement among astrologers because it's in its fall. But I will say Venus in Scorpio has loyalty, they have dignity, they know how to be the kind of partner you would want. But you have to be careful once you have a Scorpio's heart or loyalty, because once they open up to you, it's like they're showing you the ultimate vulnerability, and you have to make sure that you're matching that. Otherwise, you will receive some sort of karmic retribution, because Scorpios don't like, they'll act like they don't care, but deep down they will file it away and they will wait till a rainy day. And it's just how it works with Scorpio placements. I'm telling you, the eighth house is like, it's one of deep transformative experiences. So if you attract a Venus in Scorpio or someone with major prominent Scorpio eighth house Pluto placements, they came into your life to really shake things up and transform you. Now, does that mean for the better or for the worse? It's really up to you and how you view it. But every Scorpio placement that's ever entered my life, I've always learned a great deal from them, and I've learned how to have tenacity and grit from them. So I feel like there's a lot to be learned from the eighth house's pain. So I hope that helps you guys. Thank you.